in project management. Yeah, there are lots of tools. Then you see, do use this if you are in this niche. Use that if you are in this niche. Like, it's so confusing. Number five is in also niche. Currently, I'm in engineering, and I'm currently a project engineer. But the issue I have with my organization is it is not structured. But you know that, oh, you're a project engineer. I've done a lot of projects, but I'm just learning, like, projects. We are doing a lot, but in my company, they don't document, they don't. How can I learn from that in my own, so that I'll use it to build up my experience, my CV? Since they said certification is, you don't really need a certification now, it's your experience. I don't know how to gather those experiences that I have in my CV. Thank you.
Out to me, I usually just there are lots of resources, right? I usually recommend people to this platform, Coursera. So Coursera has a project management foundational course. I think I tried to take 1 or 2 modules. That's when I realized that the syllabus is quite robust and it's very useful. And at the end of that training, you will be expected to carry out a live project with other people. So I advise people to go for Coursera. I don't think it's free, but then Coursera has, they allow you to request for financial aid. And once you request for it, I think it takes about 14 days for them to approve. I remember I had posted something like that on my LinkedIn some time ago. So for me, I would recommend you take that. It would give you a good foundation. LinkedIn is also a good place where you can find mentors. A lot of times, I always tell people, when you are connecting to someone on LinkedIn, which is what I do, I go to LinkedIn, I check out people's profile, I check their career trajectory, and if I see something that strikes out for me, I send that person a personalized message. I don't just request for a connection. Because LinkedIn allows you to do that. If you're a premium user, you'll be able to send personalized messages to a lot of people. But if you're not a premium user, I think it allows like 5 requests for you to be able to send a personalized message. So I just told the person that, I saw some things about their profile. So if you do that, and the person accepts, you can now further tell the person your intent. I know that a lot of people on LinkedIn are willing to help, but you have to be specific to tell them what you need, because sometimes people also abuse LinkedIn, and some people will be begging for money and all of that. People don't like that. Now there's another platform which I belong to. It's ADP List. ADP List is a platform where you can find mentors all over the world. It's not just project management, but you can find people in different fields. So if you go to ADP List, you will see a lot of mentors, right? So you can always, reach out and set up a session. I think you can just check their calendar, set up a session with them. Some people are free, and then the people that have gained traction over the years mentoring, they decide to, you have to pay for their service. So you can always check. So those 2 are the ones I know which I leverage on.
On the issue of PMP, CAPM certifications and the rest, because I have a opportunity of doing different job descriptions. So I want to bring 2 questions from here. Number 1 is, how do project managers price themselves? How should the project manager price himself outside? That is the first question in this one. Because I see a lot of job opportunities, and the way I have an issue with how Nigerians give out job roles in the first place. You need someone that has a PA certification, and you are offering a person to be something that you're offering a person 200,000 naira for a PA certification. Because I help people you or CAPM, and you are paying me 300,000. It is either my boat is not blowing out or maybe something happened along the way. So the question is, how should project managers, and it's across different levels, for those that don't have certifications, for those that have experiences with certifications, how should a project manager price themselves or negotiate for their remuneration cost for an interview and rest. And yeah, if you can effectively manage a caterer and serve food in a Lagos party, you're a good project manager.
For me, I think I took my first certification in 2021. When I got my first job as a project manager, that was in 2018. And I did my certification in 2021, right? Again, just like I said earlier, it's not just about the certification. What really matters is your experience. That's the key thing. And even when you're having an interview, you are also in a position where you are convincing the recruiter and speaking what you did or what you're currently doing in the organization that you're working with, and telling the person the impact that you have created in that space based on your experience, not necessarily the certification, right? So once I have been able to establish all of that, I now ask them what the band is. And I think on the Glassdoor, so you can also check the salary scale of what they are paying a project manager on certain level. So that would inform your decision on whatever pricing that you're asking. So that's how I would advise you to approach the pricing. Now the second question that had to do with transitioning to an IT role, is that correct? Yeah, again, if you're transitioning, I think when I mentioned about transitioning to project management, I had said that you now just have to take a course. So I think that's also something that you can apply. If you're saying that you want to move into maybe an IT support, what does an IT support do? What is the framework that guides, just make a research, check online, or even ask people that are currently in that position, right? And maybe so that you're able to gain some insights, and then also check online on related courses that you can do just to have a foundational knowledge, because that's key. You need that foundational knowledge, that theory first, right? And then you now also set what are the skills, what are the transferable skills that you need to have as an IT support, your soft skills, and then you can now start building upon that. I don't know, have I answered your question? All right, awesome.
So I'm not a project manager or anything, but I understand a bit about tech, and I'm not going to go too specifics of how to transition, but I'll give you an idea of what the tech industry is about. So it started out as a bunch of young men and women who were hobbyists, basically knew how to work around the computer, write code and stuff, and nobody took them seriously. And over time, they stuck to it because they didn't know anything else, and suddenly it became a thing. And then they had too much money that they didn't know what to do with. And then when the money started growing in, they started thinking to themselves, okay, we need to put structure in this thing. We can't be putting slides and table tennis tables and sleep bags in our offices. I think that's how we're going to grow. We need to put proper structure. So as a project manager, regardless of where you are at, the value you're bringing to a tech business is that you're helping them structure what they're already doing. You're bringing that value of a structured thinking, a process way of doing things to how they run their business. So what you're doing for them is keeping their processes and their systems working so they can scale. So if you have that at the back of your mind, you can transition it.
I don't know how many of those I have gotten. I've tried to track them, but because I'm a very positive person, I do not really let any of those get. As a matter of fact, I now take a bottle of Zobo for every opportunity that I get. But I know my day will come. What do you do? Deadlines, timelines are very synonymous to project management. However, you cannot give up on yourself. So, before you give up on yourself, before you get to the dreamland, send those resumes, not knowing what's going to come. the next day. Even after you go through the first and second stage interview. I had one interview and it was because of plugging internet. Please, anyone who knows this, plug how much or how close I have gotten to getting that job. However, it is still unfortunately. So how do you stay positive? How do you keep going?
So your question is, how do you stay positive when you have applied for several jobs, you're almost at the finish line, and then you keep getting rejections, right? That's your question. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy, right? You will get to that point when you feel, I mean, should I continue and all that? I'm going to use myself as a typical example. In 2022, when I wanted to leave the organization I was working, I told myself I wanted to work with a multinational, that it doesn't matter how far, I mean, it doesn't matter the process, that I wanted to work in a multinational. I started putting in job applications. I was reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, checking different, like Indeed, sending out applications and all that. For like 2 months stretch, I didn't get any interview call. And I told my manager then, he knew that I wanted to leave. I was at the point where I felt too comfortable with my role and I wanted to leave. And he told me, he said something that, I mean, I can never forget. You will never, I think he said something about, you can never have something about carrying weights, right? You can never have muscle, you don't carry weights, right? It means that you have to go through a process. It is a gradual process, but you just have to keep trying. Now, when he said that thing to me, it didn't sink in, right? Because I was always complaining, I've been applying. And he said, even the complaining itself is draining. So just keep a positive mind, just keep trying. In March, the first company that reached out after I applied was Meta. I did the interview, 6 stages, I got to the final stage. And the interesting part of it is that as I was doing that interview with the recruiter, I was understanding